If you've ever finished a workout and thought, I didn't really feel that, or you've pushed heavier weight but somehow got less out of it, this one is going to be for you. Because today we're digging into the science behind something that every athlete hears about, but few actually master: the mind-muscle connection. It's not just a buzzword, it's the bridge between effort and results, between movement and control. I'm Alison Beresford, and this is the Fundamentals of Fitness. So let's break down how tuning into your body can unlock more strength, better form, and smarter training. When you pick up a dumbbell, your brain doesn't just tell your arm to move. It sends a cascade of electrical signals through your nervous system, tiny impulses that travel from motor cortex in your brain, down the spinal cord, and out through motor neurons and into your muscle fibers. That's movement in its raw form, your nervous system firing, muscle fibers contracting, and force being generated. Now here's the interesting bit. The quality of that signal, how efficiently your brain recruits those fibers, depends on how well you can focus on the muscle doing the work. That focus is what we call the mind-muscle connection. Studies using EMG, electromyography, show that when participants consciously think about the target muscle during an exercise, they can increase the electrical activation by up to 30%. That means two people can do the exact same bicep curl, but the one focusing on squeezing the muscle rather than just moving the weight will stimulate more fibers and see greater adaptation over time. It's the difference between performing a rep and owning it. Strength doesn't start in your muscles, it starts in your brain. And when you learn a new movement, your nervous system is like a Wi-Fi signal, a bit unstable, dropping connection here and there. With repetition and conscious focus, those neural pathways strengthen, latency drops, and coordination improves. That's why beginners often gain strength quickly before they even add visible muscle. Their brains are simply getting better at sending the right message. The mind-muscle connection also taps into proprioception, your body's sense of position and movement. It's what allows you to close your eyes and still know where your hands are. And when you move with awareness, slowing a rep down, feeling the tension, staying present, you refine those feedback loops. Your body learns to move more efficiently, reduce injury risk, and generate force exactly where you need it. Modern training environments are full of distractions: music, mirrors, phones, people filming lifts. Every time your attention drifts, your neural drive weakens. You might still complete the set, but the brain-body conversation gets a bit fuzzy. Think of it like driving while texting. You're technically moving forward, but you're missing every detail of the road. I've seen clients transform their lifts just by changing their intent. Not heavier weights, no fancy kit, just deliberate focus. One client reduced her squat load by 20%. She slowed her tempo and thought about engaging her glutes from the bottom up. And within 4 weeks, her movement pattern, depth, and strength output improved dramatically. Why? Because she was finally training with her body, not just on it. And if you look at elite athletes, sprinters, gymnasts, martial artists, their secret isn't brute force, it's precision. They know exactly what muscles fire in what order and how to fine-tune tension and relaxation. That's mind-muscle connection at scale, total body awareness. So how do you actually train this connection? Number 1. Slow down. Tempo reveals weakness and forces control. Number 2, reduce your load. If you can't feel the target muscle, the weight's too heavy. 3, visualize. Picture the muscle shortening and lengthening through every rep. And 4, breathe with purpose. Controlled exhalation enhances motor control. Start small. Choose one exercise per session to truly focus on. You'll be amazed at how much more effective even a simple movement becomes. And let's be honest, ego lifting is fun until your form looks like a baby giraffe trying to deadlift. You don't need to impress anyone with your numbers. The mirror can't count your reps, but your nervous system can definitely tell if you cheated. The mind-muscle connection isn't mythical, it's neurological precision. It's the art of turning exercise into skill. So next time you train, try this. Strip the noise, slow the rep, and listen to your body. That's not going soft, that's going smart. All right, let's talk about one of the biggest killers of progress in the gym, ego lifting. We've all seen it. That person loading way too much on the bar, barely moving it, swinging their body, holding their breath like a volcano about to erupt, and then wondering why they're not growing or why their back hurts the next day. And you know what? I've been that person too. Because we all have days where we think, if I just push harder, if I just lift heavier, I'll get more out of it. But the truth is, you don't build better results by going heavier. You build them by going smarter. Your muscles don't have social media. They don't care about the numbers on your personal bests. They only understand tension and how long they spend under it. That's why technique, tempo, and control matter so much. When you slow a movement down, you increase something called time under tension. That period when your muscles are actually contracting. That's where strength and hypertrophy are stimulated. The research consistently shows that slowing down your eccentric phase, the lowering part of a movement, enhances muscle fiber recruitment and control. So yes, taking 3 seconds to lower the bar might not look impressive, but your muscles are definitely impressed. I had a client, Mark, who was obsessed with chasing heavier numbers on every lift. If he didn't add weight each week, he thought he was regressing. So one day I told him, let's do an experiment. Drop your load by 30%, slow every rep down, and focus on your form. And he looked at me like I'd just cancelled Christmas. But he did it. And halfway through, he stopped and said, my legs are on fire. Why is this harder? That's the mind-muscle connection. Because slowing down forces you to own every inch of that range of motion. No momentum, no cheating, just pure control. Tempo is one of the most underused tools in training. When you control how long you spend in each phase of a lift, lowering, pausing, raising, you shift from moving weight to mastering it. For example, lowering for 3 seconds in a squat builds stability and joint control. Pausing at the bottom eliminates bounce and builds strength out of the hole. Driving up with intent trains power through tension. You're not just building muscle, you're teaching your nervous system to coordinate under load. It's why Olympic lifters spend years drilling technique before chasing numbers, because movement quality is performance currency. When you lift with ego, your nervous system panics. You tense everything, lose breathing rhythm, and switch from skill to survival. That panic response limits motor unit recruitment. It means fewer fibers fire effectively. And when you move with control, you stay inside that optimal neutral zone, coordinated, composed, and efficient. Your body's message becomes, I've got this, instead of, what on earth is happening? Look at top-level athletes, Formula One drivers, sprinters, martial artists. They don't perform on brute effort. They perform on rhythm, timing, and awareness. Lewis Hamilton isn't just flooring the throttle. He's listening to the car, adjusting by millimeters, reading the environment. It's control under chaos. And that's what we want in training, composure under load. If you can stay focused, balanced, and controlled when things get tough, you'll outperform someone chasing chaos every time. And one of my favourite coaching cues is the 70% rule. If your ego wants to go to 100% every session, dial it back to 70%. That's where skill development, form, and long-term strength happen. When you leave 30% in the tank, you stay fresh, your nervous system recovers faster, and you can train more consistently. I'd rather have you train at 70% for 12 weeks straight than burn out after 3. Now let's talk about something even most seasoned lifters overlook: breathing. Your breath isn't just oxygen delivery, it's stability, force transfer, and focus. When you brace your core and breathe rhythmically through a lift, you create internal pressure that stabilizes your spine and maximizes power. But when you hold your breath or rush, your heart rate spikes, your nervous system panics, and you lose rhythm. Try this. Exhale slightly through the sticking point. It keeps your tension and composure. Think of your body like a manual car. Anyone can slam the accelerator, but it takes control to shift gears smoothly. You wouldn't drive your car at full speed in first gear. You'll overheat it and stall. Training is the same. Smooth transitions, controlled tempo, and efficient breathing keeps your engine working, not braking. The best progress I've ever seen in clients comes when they stop trying to do more and start trying to do better. Less load, but more control. Fewer exercises, more focus. Fewer distractions, more intent. Every rep becomes data for your nervous system. Feedback, refinement, precision. That's how mastery is built. And here's something else ego lifting doesn't tell you. Form saves you from injury. When you move too fast or overload without control, you shift force into the joints and connective tissue instead of in the muscles. And that's how tweaks, strains, and long-term issues happen. Technique, meanwhile, distributes force evenly. It makes your body more resilient, not just stronger. And by the way, no one in the gym cares how much you lift as much as you think they do. Everyone is too busy worrying about their own form, their own playlist, or avoiding eye contact in the mirror. So if your rep looks smoother but the bar's lighter, trust me, that's the flex. I once trained an experienced lifter who'd been stuck at the same bench press weight for 6 months. He was frustrated, convinced he needed a new program. Instead, I made him drop 15% of his load and close his eyes for the first 2 warm-up sets and focus on the exact path of the bar, how his chest expanded, how his shoulders stabilized, and how the triceps engaged. 3 weeks later, he broke his plateau. Not because he got stronger, but because he finally moved better. In neuroscience, there's a concept called neural efficiency. It's the idea that elite performers use less brain activation for the same task because their movement patterns are optimized. That's what technique training does. It refines the signal so your body can execute with minimal wasted effort. Every rep done with focus and control literally reprograms your brain to move better. Training maturity isn't about how long you've been lifting. It's about when you realize that slowing down isn't weakness. It's control. It's awareness. And it's respect for your craft. The strongest people I know train quietly, with composure. They're not slamming weights. They're sculpting performance. So far, we've talked about the mind-muscle connection in training, but I want you to see how this goes way beyond the gym, because how you move in your workouts often mirrors how you move through life. And when you start paying attention to the little details, the way you breathe, the way you carry yourself, how you react to pressure, it changes everything. So let's start simple. Posture. Most people think that posture is about standing tall to look confident, and sure, that's part of it. But from a performance perspective, posture is communication between your muscles and your nervous system. If you're hunched over your phone or laptop all day, your body learns that that position is normal. Your chest tightens, your shoulders roll forward, and your core disengages. Then when you go to train, your muscles don't know how to fire properly. They're playing a song with instruments that are out of tune. But when you practice your awareness, pulling your shoulders back, engaging your core even as you sit, standing evenly through your feet, you're training the same neural pathways you use in your lift. So every movement and moment of awareness is a rep. Here's what I tell my clients. The gym isn't the only place to train your connection. It's in how you walk the dog without slouching, carry your shopping evenly instead of letting one shoulder take all the strain, pick up your kids with your legs, not your back, or even how you breathe during a stressful meeting. Every moment is feedback. Every task is an opportunity to check in with your body. I had a client, Sophie. She wasn't an athlete. She was a teacher, a mum, and she came to me because her back hurt constantly. She didn't have hours to spend training, so we worked on awareness, how she stood in class, how she lifted things, how she braced her core. And within a month, her pain dropped dramatically, not because she got fitter, but because she started listening to her body. She told me, I've realised I was spending all day disconnected from myself, rushing and slumping and holding my breath. And when she changed that, she changed everything. That's the beauty of awareness. It's not dramatic, it's just consistent. You don't have to overhaul your life, you just need to show up and be more present in it. A small shift in how you move can lead to a big shift in how you feel. And it's not flashy, it's not Instagram worthy, but it's real. And elite athletes do this instinctively. They don't just train their muscles, they train control. Watch a sprinter in slow motion. Every step, every joint angle, every breath is synchronized. That's not luck. That's years of developing internal awareness. No, you don't need to be an athlete to do that, but you can learn from them. When you are present in your training, you unlock the same level of precision. Your strength sessions stop being mindless repetition and become a form of skill practice. And it's not about being perfect, it's about being deliberate. So try this next time you train. Pick one exercise, maybe a lunge or a row, and slow it right down. And before each rep, check in. Where do I feel the tension? Am I balanced? Is my breathing steady? Can I feel the target muscle working? Then perform the rep like it's the only one you'll do today. That level of focus transforms your training. And the more you practice it, the more automatic it becomes, not just in workouts, but in life. And just a quick side note, if you're watching Netflix, checking your phone and thinking about dinner during your session, you're not training your muscles, you're training your distraction skills. Your nervous system only gives its best when it knows you're paying attention. I want to talk about one of the simplest and most powerful tools you have for connection, your breath. Breathing links your nervous system, your muscles, and your mindset. When you slow it down and breathe through your movements, you activate the parasympathetic system, the calm side of your brain that regulates focus and recovery. So whether you're under a barbell or under pressure at work, your breath is your reset button. Try it. Exhale fully through the hardest part of your lift or your day. You'll notice your body releases tension immediately. And one of my clients once told me, I realized I was clenching my jaw through every single workout. And when we worked on breathing and posture, she suddenly found movements easier. She wasn't fighting herself anymore. Her body and mind were finally on the same team. That's the essence of connection, cooperation, not conflict. And let's take this outside the gym for a second. When you're walking, try to feel your foot strike on the ground, heel to toe. When you're driving, unclench your shoulders. And when you're typing, relax your jaw. It sounds small, but it builds body literacy, that awareness of where you are and how you move. The more literate you are in your body, the stronger and more adaptable you become. Your body doesn't clock off when you leave the gym. Everything you do is data. Every lift, every commute, every breath. And when you start treating all of it as part of your performance, not just the training hour, your results multiply. Because your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a deadlift and picking up a shopping bag. It just knows whether you're moving well or not. So here's your challenge for this week. Choose one daily activity and make it mindful. It could be brushing your teeth, driving, walking, stretching, anything. But give it your full attention. Notice how your body feels. Notice your breathing. Notice if you're tense or rushing or distracted. That's your real life training ground. All right, wherever you are right now, whether you're driving, walking, or sitting at your desk, this part isn't about slowing down to a stop. It's about tuning in while you keep moving through your day. So let's start with a simple check-in. notice the surface beneath you. If you're sitting, feel the weight of your body through the chair. If you're standing or walking, notice how your feet make contact with the ground, heel, arch, toes. No need to change anything yet, just observe. Now bring your attention to your breathing. Without forcing it, notice your next inhale. Feel your ribs expand, maybe your shoulders rise slightly. As you exhale, let that breath leave your body a little slower than it came in. Try that again. Inhale naturally and exhale with control. You're not chasing deep relaxation here. You're building focus. This is your nervous system's reset button. Next, tune into your posture. If you're driving or typing, ease your grip just a fraction. Loosen those shoulders, lengthen through the spine. If you're walking, imagine a string gently lifting the crown of your head so you're tall but relaxed. That little bit of awareness changes how your muscles fire. You're literally realigning your nervous system. Now let's do a quick body scan from your jaw down through your neck, shoulders, arms, chest, back, hips and legs. Ask yourself, where am I holding unnecessary tension? Maybe your shoulders have crept up. Maybe you're clenching your jaw. Just acknowledge it and let it soften slightly. You don't need to fix everything. You're just noticing. As you continue what you're doing, stay curious about how your body moves. How does the steering wheel feel in your hands? How does your stride land on the pavement? How do your shoulders shift as you breathe? This is what we mean by mind-muscle connection, awareness in motion. You don't have to wait for the gym to practice control. You can build it right here, in any way you move, breathe, and react to stress. Because when you're present in the small things, you'll be sharper, stronger, and calmer in the big ones. So let's take one last steady breath. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Notice how different your body feels from a few minutes ago. A bit lighter, more connected. That's awareness. And awareness over time becomes mastery. So let's all take a breath together. We've just spent over 20 minutes learning about something that sounds simple. Focus, awareness, control. But really, it's one of the most powerful tools you can ever develop. Because the mind-muscle connection isn't just about lifting better, it's about living better. It's about being aware enough to notice when your body's tired, instead of forcing it. And it's about knowing when you need to push and when you need to breathe. It's about trusting your own feedback, the little signals that say, you've got more in the tank, or ease off today. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And if you look at the high performers in sport or business, they all share one thing in common: self-regulation. They don't chase chaos, they master calm. And physiologically, that calm is gold. When you train with intention, your nervous system learns efficiency. Less wasted energy, more precision, lower cortisol, and better recovery. You move from stress to flow. So whether you're an athlete chasing milliseconds, a parent chasing energy, or just someone trying to feel stronger in your own skin, this principle is the same. Slow down, tune in, and take control. Because awareness doesn't slow your progress, it accelerates it. Every controlled rep is a conversation with your body, and the more fluent you become in that language, the better results you'll see. One of my clients said something that stuck with me. She said, when I stopped treating my body like a project and started treating it like a teammate, everything changed. And that's what I want you guys to take from it today. You and your body are on the same side. It's not a battle to be fought. It's a collaboration to be strengthened. So here's what I want you to do this week. Number 1, let's pick a movement, just one. It could be a squat, a push-up, a row, or even a simple stretch. And number 2, strip it back. Let's lighten the load, slow the tempo. Let's add fuller focus. And number 3, what do you feel? Not what you see. What do you feel? And that's your progress cue. And if you catch yourself rushing or losing focus, just pause, breathe, and start again. You don't need to move mountains to make progress. You just need to be present enough to move with purpose. Every athlete I've ever coached, every success story I've seen starts with awareness. You can't build what you can't feel, and you can't strengthen what you can't sense. So make that your mission, to feel, to sense, to move with intent. And remember, training smarter isn't training easier. It's training with clarity, and the body follows where the mind leads. So if your mind is scattered, your training will be too. But if your mind is focused, calm, deliberate, connected, you'll perform at your best, both in and out of the gym. And thank you for spending time this session with me. I hope you take the idea of awareness into your next workout, into your week, and maybe into your everyday life. Because connection, real physical, intentional connection, is where strength begins. And this has been the Fundamentals of Fitness. I'm Alison Beresford, reminding you to breathe deeper, move smarter, and listen to your body. It's smarter than you think. I'll see you next week.